this morning I ended up with roughly £69,000 dropped onto my door, onto my mat through the letterbox. So this story starts way back 22 years ago, around about 2000, and it might have been a bit later than that. So what happened was, my sister's husband at the time, he had a friend who had a friend at one of these, and he worked on a drilling ship in the Falklands, and what they did, they used to drill for oil and gas. This particular day, I got a telephone call off my mum, and she said that my sister's husband he got a message from one of his friends, and I know this is a friend of a friend, but this were on the Thursday, and the guys on the ship had been drilling, and they'd hit this huge field of oil, what they thought were a massive field of oil, and they were working for a company called Desire Petroleum. And at the time, Desire Petroleum's shares were around about 42 pence a share. So we got told to buy some shares. The share price on the Monday were going to rocket. So we got told to set up an account and get some shares in Desire Petroleum, which we did. So I went out and I bought £1,000 worth of shares. And my mate who worked with me at the time, he gave me 500 quid, and he asked for 500 shares as well. And me, being a greedy Harry, decided to get another 500 quid worth of shares. So we got £2 grand worth of shares. My mum bought £1 grand worth of shares. My sister and her husband bought 1,500 quid worth of shares. Sid, who I work with, his dad bought 1,500 quid worth of shares, and everybody were buying these shares. And then weekend came, no trading. So then Monday morning we were all waiting for this share price to rocket. They started trading, and lo and behold, Desire Petroleum shares, they went down. They started going down from 48 pence, and then continued to tumble. And we were thinking, it's going to be any day now. They're going to make this announcement, and we're going to have this massive payout. And they expected the share price to go up to about 40. I think it was around about 40 to 50 pound per share, which would have meant that we'd have, the amount that we'd got, we'd have ended up with like 40 odd grand in like a week, which had been a result. And if we wouldn't have bought it and it had happened, we'd have kicked ourselves. So then a week passed, and share price went down a bit more and a bit more, and then a month passed, no announcement, share price went down even more, and it went right down to about 10 pence a share. And I'm like, oh my God, what's happened? There's a phenomenon, it's easy for me to say, there's a phenomenon in the gas drilling world, and it's similar to fool's gold. So fool's gold looks like gold. It's not. It's an iron ore, some kind of substitute. This is it's a phenomenon where when they drill these into a pocket of gas, oil, or whatever it is, the pressure can come across, or can come up on instruments as if it's more than what it actually is. So and this is what they did. They did this small pocket of oil, and basically it weren't enough for them to take it out. So what do you do? £2,000 worth of shares. I just left them. So I thought, well, in a year or so, they might hit another patch. So we'll following Desire Petroleum, watching what they were doing, looking, reading up on them each year. And then the company got took over. This other company sort of dissolved or diluted the shares that we'd got. So we ended up with less shares of this other company, but we'd still had shares. And share price went down and down. So they weren't really worth out. So I kind of forgot about them. So this is after about 10 years. And we just forgot about them, just left them, because they were just worth pence, these shares. And then about, I think we got to 15 years, we'd had them 15 years, or it might have been a bit longer. And then this company got took over by another company called Froghopper. Froghopper Exploration PLC. About a month after that, it might have been more, a month and a half after that, the annual sort of statement came through from Rockhopper, like a catalogue, because it's a public company, and in this catalogue there were a couple of letters, and it said, so you'll have to see what you'd have done. So let me know what you think you would have done when I tell you this. So what it was, they were issuing more shares. They were issuing 2 million some new shares to raise money for drilling somewhere else in South Atlantic. And because I'm an existing shareholder with me 24 shares worth 240 quid, I got to buy another 24 shares at 7 pence a share. And bearing in mind at that time though, they were trading at £7 something a share. So in my mind, I'm doing these quick maths and I'm thinking, that's like free money. If I can buy 24 shares at 7 pence a share, that's kind of free money, isn't it? I might have to hold on to them for so long, but it's going to claw back some money that I've got. And then there were an additional part to this letter, and it said, if you want to apply for more shares, you can apply for more shares at 7 pence a share, and if there's some available, you might have the chance to have some of these shares. It'll go to the board. So I did some quick workings out in my head again, and I thought, what's 10,000 shares? And that's 7 pence a share. So it's 700 quid. So for 700 quid, I can get 10,000 shares. Currently, Froghopper's currently were trading at whatever it was. I think it was £7 or £8 a share at that time. So in my head, straight away, I'm thinking, well, that's thousands. You know what I mean? So I pay £700 out. I've got shares that's literally worth £70,000. And to me, that's a no-brainer. Even if it's like, if I'd got everything wrong, if I've got these calculations wrong, if I've misread somewhere, this, I'm thinking, this is a no-brainer. I'm going to have to just fill this form in best I can, send it off, put my bank details in, and hope that I get this 10,000 shares. And then other thing was, so I'm thinking, well, if I lose 700 quid, well, I didn't. What went through my mind was, I know there's a lot of big companies around here, so Marks and Spencer's, Asda. There used to be a company called BXL, and I interviewed somebody on our podcast, and she was telling us, whatever they put in to buy shares, the employees, the company gave them free shares to match it. So if they bought 250 shares, they'd match it, but they couldn't touch them for 3 years. So I've got that in my head. I'm thinking, well, I'm a shareholder. I'm wondering if it's similar to that. So I filled it in, sent it off, and thought no more about it. until this morning when I got 3 letters. So, and each letter looked the same, exactly the same. So I opened the first letter, and first letter was this one, and it was me 24 shares in Rockhopper. So this is the 24 on top of my other 24 what I'd applied for. So I've now, in fact, I think I've done my calculations wrong. So I've now got 48 Rockhopper shares. But in the second letter, what came out was 10,000 shares. So I've got 10,000 shares in Rockhopper for 700 quid. So I went straight onto Rockhopper website, Rockhopper PLC, and found that they were trading at £6.90 per share. So I got my calculator out, did a quick calculation, which means that I've got £69,000 worth of shares if I wanted to sell it tomorrow. And I know that I've had them 22 or 20, however many years it is, 22 years. But what a result from thinking we were going to get £40,000 for whatever amount we had, £1,500, and then it going down to, I can remember seeing Desire Petroleum shares at 1p. So, and I thought, we're never going to get any money from this. But I've persevered, did some quick calculations when they came through, and lo and behold, I've ended up with £69,000 worth of shares. And poor old Sid, talk about bad luck, got paid out on £550. I'll get him a drink when I see him in town. But I don't know if any other people that bought their shares at the time. My mum had chance to buy them because she got same prospectus as me, and when I was talking to her, and she never bought any. I told her what I was doing, and I told her my quick workings out, but she never took that out. So I don't know whether Sid's dad did. I don't know whether my sister's done it or any others have done it. But I'm not going to cash him in. I don't know if you can or not, but my idea is not to cash him in. I'm just going to put him in bank vault, and then I'm just going to sit on him. So and we'll see what happens. Listen, they've been down at 1p, so whatever happens, I think it's going to be a win-win. At least I'll get my money back. So I just thought I'd come on and just tell this story. It's an uplifting story, and it's from against all odds. So we've gone from 1p share right up to £69,000, and I'll tell you another thing. I had looked through Rockhopper's what their shares were over the past 5 years, and there were one point where it were £40 a share, and again I did a quick calculation, and if they go back up to £40 a share, that's £400. Sorry, £400,000. So you never know. They've only to hit a big pocketer there. They're still drilling. So if they make an announcement and the rocket up to 400 up to £40 a share, that's when I'll be selling. I'll be selling and buying a few houses.